Well, Laurel, that early launch was great for people who spend all day online. They were able to find out early and place their order, no problem. But what about folks who work all day away from computers? They were often left behind. Hopefully there will still be some tests left over when they find out that the site went online a day early. Word spread quickly among social media users this morning that the government website to order your free home COVID test was taking orders. Gina Lynch, a hairstylist, was one of many who did not find out until later in the day.
I think it's a little frustrating for those of us that come in contact with the public all the time.
She also thinks frontline workers should be, well, in front of the line to get these free tests.
I see kids from 2 years old to adults who are 85. And I really feel like it is our responsibility to know ahead of time before we come to work or anything else, if we have it or not.
White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki shrugged off the early launch.
So covidtest.gov is in the beta phase right now, which is a standard part of the process typically as it's being kind of tested in the early stages of being rolled out.
But a beta test in front of the entire country? That pretty much looks like a full-on launch. I checked the site. It's covidtests.gov, and sure enough, there it was, a live website. Below that, you'll find information about the free tests that will be sent to you, and if you want even more, there is a frequently asked questions page. By the way, some of you asked us if you can order more tests because you have roommates sharing a home. The government answered that in the frequently asked section, and the answer is no. You get 4 tests. What if you live in a large or multi-generational house? Still no. 4 tests. How do they work? Well, basically, you swab your nose, then expose the sample to some chemicals, and it tells you in 15 minutes or so if you are positive for COVID. But remember, it's a rapid antigen test, and those are not nearly as reliable as the PCR tests. In this clip sent to us by the University of Washington School of Medicine, Dr. Jeff Baird said there is a big difference in sensitivity.
If you have a swab and there's about 100 or 200 viruses, just 100 or 200 viruses on that swab, we can detect that with a PCR. For a rapid test, an antigen test, there usually needs to be tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands. And so there's just a lot more virus that needs to be there.
And because of that, the best time to use your test is if you feel COVID symptoms, often similar to a cold. That's when the test is most likely to detect the virus. If it's negative and you still feel crappy 24 hours later, test again. And Dr. Baird says that home test is not great if you do not have symptoms.
A use that's not so good, however, is completely asymptomatic individuals testing themselves to see if it's safe to go have a family reunion or something, or go to the theater or go to an event, and go into close quarters. They really do not have the diagnostic power to suggest that.
That beta rollout of the government website where you can order the free home test is getting more and more attention all the time. The New York Times reported that at one point during the day today, there was about 700,000 visitors to the site. I checked 30 minutes ago, and there were 600,000 at that point. So it's definitely getting noticed around the country now. Back to you.
Thank you, Pat.